Hello, my name is Jessica Finley, and I'm a family counselor for Alberta Health Services Pregnancy and Infant Loss Program. After the loss of a baby, everyone has different challenges and ideas for what comes next. In this video, parents talk about how they remember their baby and how they found a new normal.
And the first day I got back, people hadn't seen me at work for about 4 weeks, and they knew that we were expecting a baby at that time. And I probably had people coming up to me saying congratulations over and over again. I had a ton of people coming, no, congratulations, you've been away. And no. So I had to keep explaining that over and over again.
I basically said to my manager that week that I was going to come back to work. I said, you know what, I'd appreciate it if nobody came and asked me questions. And because there's just, I don't want to talk about it. And if I do want to talk about it, then I will bring it up. I mean, I still think back to this day, he was very helpful. He was like, that's him being a father himself. He was very helpful. He understood that.
So when I first returned to work, people asked me what happened. So maybe only one or two know what I'm going to and then what happened. And then we just talk over the phone and cry together because she said she had previous loss as well. So we're able to be open and then talk about what happened before. Lots of people maybe don't know the answer or how to answer or how to comfort you. It's okay, but talk more about your baby or loss will really maybe reduce the pain or things inside of you. And sometimes also you will have surprise that people have a similar situation or similar path they go through.
For myself, where we spread the ashes, like so with our culture, we had we cremate the body at the funeral, and where we spread the ashes, I've always, since that time, I've always go back every Father's Day, every birthday, and yeah, we try to do as much as we can, and so she is part of our life all the time, and all the things that we would do for our other boys, we make sure we do the same for her.
My therapist knew about, I can't remember the terminology, but the program that does offer the ceremonies a couple times a year for when you've lost a child in that first trimester. And that was one of the things that she had asked is like, is this something you're interested in? And I said yes. And then I now have a spot I can go to, so it's at a cemetery, and it's a whole section, and you can, there's lots of, babies' names on plaques, and you can see gifts that people drop off, and I can take stuff. So for me, that's actually been a blessing, have that spot that is where it just, I don't want to say it feels normal, but it does in some way feel like I lost a child. I have somewhere to come and actually acknowledge that I lost a child. I got a tattoo. I remember when I got it, one of my friends said isn't getting that going to be really hard because you're always going to, whenever you look at it, you're going to think about it. I'm like, I think you're missing the point. I think about this every day, every day. So having a tattoo there, it actually gives comfort because it's no, I acknowledge that this happened.
I think his legacy is to be determined in many ways. But I think the initial premise to me is something in the neighborhood of he didn't necessarily need to be alive in order to keep living in that sense and to keep living with us and with the community that we've created, and frankly, the community that his life has strengthened for us in some ways. And I think all of those things are, even in these early days, a legacy that has been authored by him.
For me, even when people ask right now, oh, do you have any kids? I'm like, how do I answer that? I don't have any Earthside kids.
We made it a routine where we have to go once a month to go to the cemetery to see the girls, right? And because the first time we went there, we didn't know what to do. So we had to ask Asmin, I'm like, what do you do when you go to the cemetery? She goes, you can read a book, you can do a music, or you can do something. And when we had a memorial service, and there was a song, that song I kept, and I remember it, so that's the song we play whenever we go.
So like half a year later, we did start to try again and with IVF. We really want a baby, not place Ethan. Just we want a family member we can hold on to. We had a chance and we're pregnant again, and we're scared same time. We have 2 loss already.
Would it be true this time? Will we really have a new baby or new family members? A lot of anxiety in the past, a lot of worry. I also have more pressure feeling to be a mom, to get everything prepared, grab the bed to the hospital, and more prepare everything for the baby as well. So when it's getting closer and closer, I finally feel that I actually will be a mom soon. And all the responsibility, I'm happy to have.
I said, okay, we'll try. And got pregnant with Nora. It was when I heard her cry, to know that this is actually reality. She's here.
Even in beginning of May, when I got the positive pregnancy test this time, it wasn't like, don't get me wrong, I had excitement, like, okay, like, but part of me was just like, like, I think you can never get that back, that like excitement that you get of like kind of that oblivious, just you're oblivious to what could go wrong. And so when it ended up not being a viable pregnancy, I almost wasn't surprised. I was like, yeah, like that just seems to be how this works. Whereas, yeah, I see some folks who, just get their pregnancy test and they're just beyond excited and thrilled and they're planning gender reveals right away. And it's just, I'm glad that they don't have that fear, right? Because I think that's part of my jealousy too, is like, I wish I could go back to that and just not have that fear. And because I know at one point, hopefully when I do get pregnant and stay pregnant, like that's going to be a fear all along throughout it.
We did not forget about them.
Yeah.
It's still there inside us.
And nothing makes my heart warm than when I get a chat or help chat from somebody that's in Japan, in the Caribbeans, and saying, we don't have this support in my country. I saw this link online and I can go there. If I knew that I could seek help when I had the first loss, it would have made a huge difference.
It must be here forever. So every time when you have a chance to think about, to feel it again, and to talk about it again, is make you feel stronger, to face the reality, to give yourself more credit. I can do it. It's so hard, but I can do it. We work for it. Eventually, you will walk through that. You will walk through it. It's just a path. Very difficult path, but you can do it. You can.
Thank you for watching this video. We want to remind you that there are many resources available to you and your support people, including counseling, support groups, and books. You can also visit MyHealth.Alberta.ca and search under services for the Pregnancy and Infant Loss Program in your area.